Hello again, everyone. I'm Mark Hack, Macomb County Executive. John Paul Ray, our Deputy Executive. Again, trying to do our video updates here from Macomb County, giving you the perspective of things that are happening. First and foremost, the governor just issued her kind of shelter-in-place order. Very unique. I'm not sure that this has ever been done in the state of Michigan. Understandably, what we're trying to do is get ahead of this, trying to reduce people's need or want to get out into the community and continuation of the spread of this virus, because it is here. It's in our community. The community spread has already taken place. So for 2 weeks, she's going to have the shelter in place. People need to be mindful of it. Does it mean law enforcement are going to go out there and arrest people that are driving down the street? No, you're still going to have access to certain facilities for food, for your medication, for those that have to get to some work environment that is considered to be essential. There is going to be quite a list of facilities and places that are going to have to shut down. But again, you're going to get more information. In fact, they can even go to our website to get that information if they need to.
Mark, you're right. MacombGov.org. We're going to be posting detailed information, not only with regards to the ramifications of shelter in place, but what it means for you and your family, for your place of business, and ultimately how we as a community can come together over the next 2 weeks and ensure everyone gets what they need.
And then basically, we're not going to get into the great details of it right now, but there are going to be people wanting to know more information, wanting to know exactly what this means for them, some of the specifics. Again, go to our website if you want to see the exact order from the governor, MacombGov.org. That exact order will be on there for you to go ahead and review. In the meantime, we've had to make decisions internally, once again, about critical versus non-critical needs of county government. So many of the services we normally have provided are going to be online by appointment basis, yet there are some critical services, obviously law enforcement services, our road services. We're still going to continue to figure out how do we fix roads, what we're doing with our health department. So buildings are probably still going to be open, but for those that are there trying to support those services, meaning employees. So we're really making a plea and a request out there to the public. If you're not called to one of our facilities or even local government facilities, you don't need to go there. If you can find an alternative way, call somebody, go online, do that as opposed to trying to show up at our doors and creating more of a potential for that, mix of contact with people. So we're severely cutting back on our services, only supporting those that are essential that we need to provide, but people need to kind of take precautions and I guess call ahead.
Mark, and as you've said since the outset of this, the county is going to do everything that we can to be as inventive, as modern as possible to continue to serve the public. Obviously, this is a new set of scenarios that's being brought to our attention, and we're going to do everything in our power not only to remain operational, but to ensure that we're protecting the public too.
I think people have come to the realization of it. I'm driving down the streets, and I don't know if you notice it, there's been this tremendous, reduction in the traffic. I talked to Sheriff Wickersham. He mentioned the call volumes have slowed down. People are actually calling to find out, if they can make a report over the phone. Officers are making less traffic stop. Doesn't mean that you should just go out there and drive, worse than what some people normally do. But the reality is they're trying to limit their contact with the public as well, not only for their safety, but for your safety. So we're starting to see people are really adhering to some of this without it having to be an order. People have kind of taken this as being, we get it. We're starting to see that this is a serious issue in our community.
Mark, the other part with regards to the shelter-in-place order, we'll be getting a lot more information out there with regards to businesses that need to remain open, whether you're one of those essential businesses that's been cataloged or one of those businesses that's trying to bolster operations to support whether it's personal protection equipment or healthcare systems. Again, MacombGov.org, and you're going to be able to get all that information there.
Yeah, we know this is real. Again, when I keep talking about community spread, we're hearing it from our health department, but I think the numbers prove it. 140 people so far in Macomb County, Southeast Michigan. We are considered the epicenter of the state. We have probably well over 80% of the cases now in the entire state of Michigan. And with that being said, the unfortunate reality is we now just had registered a 1-month-old here in Macomb County that tested positive to go along with the person who is 100 years old in Macomb County that tested positive. So that range of 1-month-old to 100 years old, people sometimes say, oh my gosh, I thought it was supposed to be the elderly. That's not the case. No. Anybody can contract this virus. You can get this, no different than the flu. People have allergies. That's going on right now too. But the problem is, if you contract it, are you going to give this to someone else that may be susceptible? That's part of the, that vulnerable population, and that would be the elderly.
Yeah, Mark, we've been saying it since we've started doing these videos here. Obviously, it starts with the social distancing, but also critical is the personal responsibility. As we've joked about the whole notion of taking your temperature, making sure you're checking with your family. That is what is going to ensure not only that we're going to stop in the spread of this virus, but also ensure that everyone knows their own symptoms, their own personal space, and how they want to continue to take care of themselves and their families.
Yeah, and that personal responsibility is extremely important, and I think people are adhering to that here in Macomb County. We're seeing it. We unfortunately had our first death recorded Sunday. 52-year-old male It was at Henry Ford Hospital, succumbed to the virus. Very unfortunate. Our thoughts and our prayers and our hearts go out to the family and the friends of this individual. But you know what? I stop and I think about this. The person did have an underlying health issue, but it's not to say that one of us couldn't be susceptible to contract this that might not know we have an underlying health problem, and this could be something that could hit us and or a family member. So personal responsibility, extremely important. Check yourself. When in doubt, stay out, stay home. Even if you feel like you got a cold or the flu, don't get out there and connect with other people, and especially people within your own household. So every so often, test yourself. If you got a thermometer, check it. 100.4 degrees or higher, you may want to go seek the medical help or go to a hospital to get checked out.
The health department has been doing a fantastic job getting those critical elements out to the public. The other thing too is ensuring where the data is going, Mark. You talked about from 1 month old to 100-year-old. As we're understanding how this is spreading throughout our community, we're sharing that information with our healthcare providers, and we're trying to figure out the most modern and inventive ways to help protect the public and serve the people that need to access the healthcare systems.
So with that being said, 2-week order. Again, shelter in place. Find something for the kids to do, yourselves to do. Try to stay away from contacts. If you don't need to go out, stay away, stay at home. Many of the services that are not essential are no longer going to be available to you. Restaurants will have carry-out. There will probably be some of the drive-thrus that are still open. But if it's something non-essential like your hair, your fingernails, or some of the things that you normally like to do, go get a tan or whatever it is, none of those places are going to be available or going to be open. So with that being said, this personal responsibility is extremely important, but now it's kind of been taken to a different level. The governor is now kind of pushed in a direction where it's not just taking it on yourself to have this personal responsibility. It's kind of an order on behalf of the governor to say you need to shelter in place for the next 2 weeks, and we hope you adhere to that. So again, thank you for joining us on this update. We'll continue to keep you updated.
Appreciate it.